All right, let's talk about a guy who's been great for the Packers, and I think it's fair to say he might be in the offensive rookie of the year conversation at this point, right? I mean, he's got so many touchdowns, it's crazy. There's a lot he's doing well. He's not been perfect either, though. So again, it's been an incredible rise that he's had this, second half of the season, putting himself, into position where he has played well, and he's continuing to do so and look very good. But let's talk about the good and the bad he's had, because I do want to talk about some bad as well. And actually, I'm going to start off with some negatives before we get into some positives. I want to be clear in that he still is not a complete receiver. He still is not. He's not Devontae Adams, right? He doesn't look. When I watch film of him, I don't look at a guy and say, oh, wow, he is just uncoverable. No, he is a guy who will get, covered at times, will get shut down at times. He is not Tyreek Hill, obviously. We know this. That's not a fault against him, just kind of what I noticed. And we always talk about the positives with receivers, but let's talk about both. On this play, it's going to be a one-on-one matchup with a deep shot on the outside. That's what's happening here. You feel like these are the opportunities for him to really thrive. Now, there is a two safety deep coverage, but they're so far close towards the middle that outside the numbers, you should still have a true one-on-one matchup. Watch as this play begins, and you're going to see Christian Watson. There's not really a ton of separation right here, and that is something that does happen, is it feels like when he doesn't blow by guys, he just doesn't get the separation. And so then when he cuts back, it looked like him and Rodgers weren't even on the same page. That's something I've noticed as well with him and Rodgers, is that seems like there's times when they're just not on the same page. Their chemistry, they don't have the chemistry down. They just do not. That's not a thing that they have. Again, this is football. He's a rookie. These are, things you expect him to get better at, but he still does have to get better at it. Like, this is another example of it's going to be a zone coverage play. You see that Christian Watson here has a one-on-one matchup. And again, he's very good at blowing by guys, but when he can't do that, which he's not going to do on this play, that's where things don't always work out. Watch as Rodgers takes the snap. You're going to see Christian Watson. He kind of tried to use route running a fake as though he's going over the middle, then getting to the outside. And I don't know what it is of him, because he's so fast, but for whatever reason, when he tries something like this, he just looks like a slow wide receiver. I don't get it. I don't know if it's an optical illusion or what, but he just doesn't seem that fast in this situation. And for me, I kind of feel like, hey, just go full DK Metcalf in his rookie year. Just have him run go routes. Don't even try to be a route runner right now. That kind of stuff. Because Rodgers throws one up, and at this point, it's just a pure jump ball, and I mean, you get nowhere close. Just a weird, it might have even been a throwaway at that point. So this happens, right? This is something that happens. Yes, you go to a wide receiver and watch every play. You're not getting burned down the field every single play. Obviously that's the case. But of course, the good outweighs the bad. Let's shift gears before all Packers fans get mad at me and turn off the video, which, maybe on me. Maybe I shouldn't have started off this video talking negative about a guy who I like. Let's talk about why I like him. I think the first thing I want to talk about is something like this, which is, as much as I want to sit here and say he's not getting open every one-on-one shot down the field, he still is getting open on these one-on-one shots. And the reality is, you don't have to get open on all of them. You don't have to be getting open consistently. If you just get open on a couple, that's, all the Packers offense needed to turn from looking abysmal to looking solid. And I think that he has been the reason for that. And it's with stuff like this. It's a one-on-one matchup on the outside. Rodgers takes a snap. Rodgers is going to look in that direction, and you do have a little bit of a window. It's not wide open as of yet, but again, with Watson's speed, this is the throw you want to make. Now, difficult throw from Rodgers. It's going to be far. Rodgers makes this throw and just underthrows it a little bit. It could have been called pass interference. There was a hold on that play, weirdly, so called a defensive hold, but not pass interference, which was surprising to me. But as a whole, this was a good route from Watson, and that's just really what he can do. Is as much as I want to sit here and say, well, his route running isn't totally crisp, all he can do is run by guys. If you can run by guys, you can get open, and at the end of the day, if you're open, who cares how you got open? Just get open. So that's the exciting thing about Watson and with the Packers. And the exciting thing too is he can improve on all that stuff I talked about earlier. That's why I brought it up, was because there is room for improvement. Something like this was, I'll be honest, a little bit of a funny play. It was a little bit funny, maybe laugh a little, where what's going to happen is it's going to be a jet sweep. So, okay, trying to run out the clock, it seems, at this spot. You have a receiver who's going to run up and block whoever is supposed to be covering Watson on this play. The Bears are expecting a traditional run, which is why this play can be effective. And right when this play begins, you're going to see why I say it's a little bit funny. That Chicago player got a little bit fooled here. I think it's fair to say. He's still looking for a ball carrier over the middle, did not realize that Watson has the ball and is on the other side of the field right now, where he's the only guy who could potentially make a play. So that's obviously not great for Chicago, but again, in a situation like this, I think you would still say, okay, this looks good, but I don't know about a touchdown good. Someone can get over and make a play. However, look at Watson's speed. I mean, he's just able to blow by everybody because, again, he has that just electric speed on that play. So, again, maybe not ideal defense, but at the same time, you're getting the ball in an explosive playmaker's hands. That's what you're trying to do here, and this is why he just does add a new layer to this offense. And I also want to go over to something like this, where, listen, it's not just him blowing by guys entirely. That's most of it. That's most of what he's doing right now, is just using his speed, which is, hey, again, like I said, I'm not saying that as an insult. It sounds like an insult, but it's a reality. That's what he is right now. He is kind of a one-trick pony, but he's so good at that trick that, hey, keep using it because it's really difficult to stop. Like I said, DK Metcalf was kind of that way until, he developed more as a player. We felt like Watson was a project player, and, so right now, just do what he can, have him do what he can do now, and hopefully you develop him further along the way. So something like this, though, is not... It's a very different scenario than what we had talked about, where it's going to be zone coverage. He's basically going to go into a safety's zone, and right off the bat, this is going to be good defense. I mean, you see right away he gets covered, and he was kind of running a route that wasn't necessarily designed to get open. You obviously hope every route gets open, but on a fourth down, this was kind of more of a decoy route. But Chicago, good defense, tough situation for the Packers. The nice thing, though, is Rodgers isn't going to throw this ball away, right? Rodgers needs somebody to make something happen, and Watson is going to be that guy. He's in the spot and says, well, hey, again, I'm faster than guys, but I don't just move over. Watch him kind of just move over, and again, uses that speed to box out the safety who was in his area, gets the catch there. Really good stuff in sort of that scramble drill scenario from Watson. So again, he already has the stuff that he's good at. You just hope he starts to improve on the rest of the stuff. Is he a superstar wide receiver already? In my opinion, no. In my opinion, he still has some work to do. And I think, he definitely is a little bit benefited from the fact that teams do play a lot of cover one against the Packers because that's what was working for most of the season. But I do think at this point you got to stop doing this because he has been the difference maker and he has been the reason why now the Packers offense looks a lot better. I think that teams need to start respecting Christian Watson more because of his electric speed, and I think Watson will continue to get better at the other stuff. So again, sometimes I think people, when I make a video, I'll criticize a certain aspect of a player and people will say, oh, you hate this player. The real reason I'm doing it is I'm trying to just give an accurate depiction of what the player is. That's not necessarily a prediction as who the player is going to become. I do think that Watson will figure it out. I think Watson will continue to grow and be an even better player than he already is, and I also think he's still a very valuable player right now. So for Packers fans, if you're watching this video, what I'm trying to say at the end of the day is get excited. Looks like you have a very fun player. At least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.